Well, isn't this just the worst sport in the world? It'll absolutely decimate you. You absolutely hate every single part of it. You don't understand why certain things are happening. You don't understand why your team has to bat twice. TVs are going in and out of windows. You are beating up pillows. You're angry at yourself. You're looking at this match through cupped hands, through your fingers at the moment. We're all scared. We're all scared at the moment. Australia leads by 218. Is that 200 too many? I guess we'll find out. But you can watch all of this in Australia, exclusively on Prime Video in Australia. Pezza, how are you feeling? How do you feel?
I love what you just said, because I tell you what, like, now is when wet cricket narrators feel obliged to talk about what a great game Test cricket is. We fucking know it's great, okay? You know, you've got to go through hell to get to heaven. There's a lot of rigmarole in cricket. We understand. We don't need to sit here for the next 20 minutes and go, isn't this great? We fucking know it's great. What we need is to fucking win this game.
I'll tell you what it does. It sucks. This sucks.
And I will exactly. So that's why you're right.
It sucks.
This feeling right now sucks, and I hope that means the feeling when the lollipop is in our pockets is greater. But the fact that it sucks is because we know that it may not be in the pocket anymore. The TV is out the window, and it is, with all of the greatest respect, the fairest of fucks to South Africa for getting themselves back into this game. They let the tamasha run. They tore like a hole through the heart of Australian batting. The deck was helpful. There were gloomy, brooding skies at the home of cricket. But mate, it wasn't just Rabada and his mates. It was all of them. There was a couple of twos players storming in and steaming in for the Rainbow Nation. And you know, yes, you say it is a privilege to be there. But I don't give a fuck about privilege at the moment. There's plenty of it around me. But yeah, like like what a day's play. It's another 14-wicket day, just as it was yesterday. Right. It is Will Ferrell, Ashley Schaefer. Can you feel the tension in the air? I know I can. I can feel it in my plums.
Let the boy watch. I don't want to 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 watch
the way
this.
My father did and the way his father did. Well, actually, my father and his father, they watched guys who could bat.
They watch them on flatties.
Exactly, that's right. The ball gets soft and guys will make 200, and it was really good.
Doss's hat's getting bigger and bigger, as is his chest, and rightfully so, because he scored runs for the nation. Pez, I want to just encapsulate the mood inside the ground, because, you know, I feel like there's so many bad games of cricket. This isn't one of them. It's painful. I don't want to watch it. Don't get me wrong, but we have had so many people come up to us, and they are just having the fucking best time.
It's happy.
And it's because, and I'm talking about, like, we were actually talking on Patreon the other day, like, we've never seemed to, like, get into the South African market. Turns out it's because they all live in London.
And I'll tell you what, I think we're going to pick up a fair amount of that market tomorrow if the batters come out to play.
Hello, Joe Berg. Welcome to the channel. We've been doing this for 10 years.
Was that? Oh, it was a salute.
Sorry, yeah. That wasn't an Elon stuff. Anyway, there is so much happiness and tension in the ground. Every moment matters, and it's so good to be part of a game where your team, well, what happens matters to you, because there's so much in cricket, especially recently, where it doesn't fucking matter. This matters, and I know people keep telling us in the media that, like, it doesn't make sense, this game, the wrong teams are there, the system does. I don't know how the system works. Every single cricket fan tomorrow wishes that their team was playing tomorrow to win the world, because that's what's at stake tomorrow. It's anxious. It's happy in the ground. There's a carnival atmosphere, and it's just fucking awesome, to be honest. And it's so great to be here and part of it. It's a Friday night in Australia, and I hope there's 12 more wickets tomorrow, because that means that we win and we get to be cunts again for ages. So not good for business, good for our brains, I suppose. Anyway, so the scores, if you need to know that Australia bowled South Africa out for 138. They are currently 144 for 8. Their lead is 218 runs. It feels on a knife edge, especially before the last wicket stand of, two wickets ago when Carey and Stark put on 50 odd or whatever. But let's go back to the start of play.
And if you want those actual scores, a shout out to our partners Cricket Atal as well. Gideon and Pete on the bell are on absolute fire. Cricket Atal, sign up for the best independent cricket writing. We're just shouting it out because it's gold. They deserve to be read deluxe. So if you want thoughtful, incisive, witty commentary, devoid of swearing, then that's where you go. So and if you want scores and stuff as well. But we're just going to say 50 odd and close enough and that.
There's a couple of cunts on their channel and they'll read out the numbers or whatever. Anyway, okay, let's go back to the start of the day. Okay, Pat Cummins takes 6 for 28. That's right. Pat Cummins takes 6 for 28. I'm ready to call him Pat Cummings incorrectly. Golden balls, my hero, my lover, my life.
Yep.
6 for 28. Now, Jimmy Anderson said before the game, and Pat Cummins was asked this question, that he said, well, people think that Rabada's a better bowler, and he just goes, cool. I know it's not fashionable or cool to like this Australian side. They haven't won in India. They haven't won in England, so how good can they really be? Apart from New Zealand doing those things, well, half of that anyway, no one's good anymore, really. But when Rabada takes 5 for 51, the story of the day wasn't that Australia was winning the game, which we felt that they were, but I think we were the only ones saying that. It was that Rabada is just the best in the world. And then Cummins just takes a lazy 6 for 28. So it's unfashionable to like this team, and I'm not even saying Australia needs to get more flowers. I think Australia gets enough, really. But Cummins 6 for 28. He's just one of the fucking best players we've ever had, and he's just dragged Australia into a great winning position with a lead of 70 or whatever it was in the first innings.
That's the word, mate. Dragged, because it's not just when you wake up and see the scores and Cummins has gone through them on a tough deck. South Africa didn't lose a wicket for 80 minutes at the start of the day. The gloom and the nip around from the day before had disappeared. The sun was out, the deck was flat. Bavuma was punching off the back foot, standing on his toes. He was pulling. He was driving down the ground. I was at Daniel Bedingfield. Sorry,
Daniel Bedingfield.
But my mistake once again. I told you. I don't resolve from the fact we're going to make mistakes. Daniel Bedingfield.
Yes.
Very disrespectful. He made 40, but he's out now. But he.
And he's shit.
Yeah, I just got two voices in my head. He was leaning on Mitch Starc down the ground. It was just this was a game where Australia had South Africa 4 for 40 overnight, and in the space of about 45 to 60 minutes, Australia was on the back foot because of some assured, commanding batting from South Africa. Mm-hmm. The sense that day 2 at Lords is the day to bat. It was still 2 recognised batters in. Sorry, I don't have to slide it. Criticism in there. Yeah. And so when we talk about Cummins' spell, he dragged it back for Australia. First, he ends up getting Bavuma, who just plays. He's on 36, and he just until that point he had just been assured, compact, precise, neat, organised, and then just played this airy third-grade cover drive. Yeah. And Marnus dives to his right, gets a little bit of air, takes a really good catch, and all of a sudden Australia's back in it. The scores are starting to look good, sorry, what was I going to say?
They lose 6 for 40 from there, but just before Bavuma's out, they lose 6 for 40.
But that's Cummins, and how often Rabada does what he does. Comparison is the thief of all joy. They're both greats. It's as simple as that. When Cummins goes through teams as a fast bowler who can crank it up to 140s, etc., he doesn't, to my mind, tend to do it by having his tail up and becoming unplayable. How many times do you see him come on as the skipper and wrest the game back for Australia? He does it through toil, and all of a sudden he gets his team back into the winning position when it just looked like they were losing. I never got to see Dennis Lilly bowl, but that seems to be the narrative around Lilly. Obviously a great of the game, one of arguably Australia's greatest ever fast bowler. Certainly people who watched him would say that.
Right.
But the thing that defined Lilly was the endurance, the fitness, and the lionheartedness, and that's what Cummins shows. The number of times he steps up when the going is starting to get tough for Australia and brings it back is just remarkable. It speaks to his character, and he like so many other players in this game, he's absolutely here and desperate to win.
And he's woke. Takes a caught and bowled as well. You've already said it, but how many times does this guy do this? I don't like the politics myself, but that's sort of neither here nor there. Now let's so South Africa bowled that for 138. So that is a lead of, what are we looking at? Was it like 74, something like
74,
that? 74.
74,
right? Okay, which feels huge in this moment of time. So Australia find themselves 144 for 8 for 144. They were 7 for 73. So that is a lead of 147, I suppose, at the time. With
mate, they were 102 ahead, none down. Did you just say that?
No, I didn't know.
Australia batting, they had a lead of 102 with no wickets lost.
They've lost.
They were none for 28.
7 for 48.
There was. We just said as we sat in the outer for a little bit, and we were just like, there's a great hush over this crowd as we just sort of Australia is just going to clinically and ruthlessly and with emotional distance compile a lead that their bowlers will just just strap on the feedback and go to work with later on. And
it feels like a hard wicket, as in India at times. Now obviously when it spins too much we don't like that, but this wicket's a shit tip. I mean, how can it not be?
Yeah.
I mean, like if this was in Asia, we'd be calling it a shit tip. I mean, but I mean, the only thing outside of that is that like these teams haven't played Test cricket in months, and South Africa hardly has. So I wonder if the batting is that. Now, I also looked at. There's been 9 bowls in this game. So there's been 28 wickets and there's been 9 bowls. So before then, it's essentially a bit more than 30%. Now, in Test cricket, I looked it up, according to ChatGPT, it's about 20% dismissals bowled. So it's significantly up in this game. Test cricketers don't usually get bowled. And guys are just getting rolled, I guess, 1 in 3 wickets so far in this game. That speaks to the difficulty. I mean, a lot of people will be saying, you're looking at 2 great bowling attacks and 2 shit batting lineups. I don't think that's wrong. But I think if I was in the side, I'd be like, boys, it's fucking hard out there. And it looks at, I mean, there are good bowlers in this game, but maybe this wicket is just a fucking shit tip. And I suppose we'll find out what happens in the 4th innings. There's still a bit to go in the 3rd innings.
Well, what is the weather tomorrow? Because, like,
bit of rain around tomorrow.
I just feel like... we have seen examples of batters who have got some kind of a hold of the deck. Like Webster made 70 odd, Smith made 60.
Sorry, that's sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's what I was going to say. Because in India, like sometimes it's very hard to start, especially against like Jadeja, for instance. But once you get in, it's a little bit easier. It seems like because we've seen clusters in this game. So South Africa lost 6 for 40, Australia lost 7 for 50-ish or something like that. So clusters are falling. So hard to start is my point.
Khawaja, gets out. The meaning behind his dismissal and his pattern of dismissals against high quality fast bowling is going to be shaped by what happens tomorrow. I think in a lot of ways. I mean, if South Africa's top 3 crumbles against its the moving new ball, it may be said that it's just fucking hard in the ways that you said. But it's very difficult to escape the idea that he's 38 and the mince pies might be finding it a bit difficult to face 145 clicks, which is it's really no shame. But to be honest, like it's not, a conversation about Usman Khawaja can just be parked for one day while Australia tries to win the World Test Championship. We can think about the next thing later. But it is, it is worth calling out that it doesn't look particularly comfortable at the moment, but it also isn't getting a lot of decent decks to bat on as well. He's facing some tough stuff.
This is a bowling era across all cricket, red ball cricket anyway. I think when Australia dominated in the early 2000s, it was a batting era. You look at all the record numbers; they're all from the same batting era. So I mean, this is a tough time, and it looks fucking hard because there are heaps of good bowlers, and the decks are real difficult.
KG gets it started. Smith breezes to 13. Again, looks like he's on a different planet than Ngidi. Bowls him a straight one that Smith just misses.
Just kicks,
And like shout out Ngidi who came to the fore and had a great spell there when he looked pretty unders in the 1st innings. He ends up getting Webster, Salmon. Mulder is coming in, like he's steaming in, and he castles head. It does.
Look at those fucking heaps. It looks at those fucking heaps. I know we're going to talk about tomorrow in a second, but the energy for South Africa at that moment was like it was grade cricket-esque. Like it was a bit like, even though these beep, beep. See, and the thing is, like, is it a gas truck? Like, is Australia throwing it away, or is it like, and you don't see this with Australia very often at all. Like the only time you see opponents like basically command the energy, husband the energy, if you will. And against Australia, and Australia fails to stop it, is when they're away in India. That's when they can't seem to stop the momentum. But South Africa had it today, and like the mainly South African supporting crowd around it, they sensed it. They were behind everything. Every single bowler for South Africa was absolutely steaming in and making the ball talk, and Australia just couldn't, until Carey and Stark batted, find a way to stop it, except when Carey did, and I thought Rabada's dismissal of him just at the close is absolutely it's really
massive.
big. I mean, Carey's made 43 off 50 with 5 fours, so striking at 86 if we're doing strike rates in Test cricket. But I mean, it was going at a really nice clip and looked in command. Huge wicket at the end, and it just enough keeps South Africa in the hunt.
Mate, I was just starting to lean back on my seat. You and I just starting to lean back and starting to side mouth a little bit as well. And it's like, and Rabada's just got a couple of overs left. And that would
have been the last over. I think it was his last over.
Yeah, it was. But it's a shout out to Rabada who's put them on his back. and he's bowling incredibly.
He's 3 for 44, so he's taken 8 for 95 or something like that in the game so far. So it's incredible stuff. Now Cameron Green has faced 4 balls in the Test match. You know, he's got to get that neck tattoo. You know, it's a pair of Doc Martens. It's an eyebrow piercing, maybe from Slug, if he can give him some advice there. It's a pair of Doc Martens. It's maybe a dog collar. It's maybe some
leather grip.
It's a leather grip.
Leather grip on the back.
Leather grip.
Yeah.
I think it's some BDSM stuff. I think it's just experimenting with the body, with the mind.
Maybe Doss's oil baron hat as well.
I'd be happy with that. I don't think in that moment, because when the wicket, the crowd, rises up again and Rabada's steaming in. I don't think anyone really felt like, no, I reckon Green's got this. I don't know, mate. I'm looking at it and it just looks fucking hard. I think there's been 4 LBWs in the game, so guys aren't even getting hit in the pad; they're getting bowled. Like it just has to be. These got like. Test cricketers don't miss the ball by that much very often. It just has to be doing heaps.
Yeah, it was a chaotic old day. Green, like the thing that bothers me with Greeny is that see, at the start of the summer he had some time off and he came back looking slim and lithe and like the puppy fat had gone. Yeah, you know. And I thought, well, do you remember we were talking? And it's like
the jowls.
The jowls. He's not being jowly because he's getting older. Like he's just getting older. He's growing into his body a little bit. And I was like, this is. Now he's got the aesthetic change, Gwyneth Paltrow sliding door style, where she walks in on her partner fornicating.
Chopping away.
Chopping away on the workbench. Chop, chop, chop. But, and that was the best thing that happened to her. Now, I'm not saying that happened to Green. I'm just saying he turned up last summer and he looked like the puppy fat had gone, the jowls had gone, and he looked like Green 2.0.
He was ready to fuck.
And he gets injured and obviously goes on holidays and he does what any young man would do. He probably has a couple of King Lears, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
Britney Spears. Yeah. And now he's come back and he's jowly. And I don't... Just to be very clear, this isn't shaming jowls, but I mean, have a look at it. Why would it? No, I'm just saying from an image perspective, this is what we need from Cameron Green.
Right. Okay. Just before we get into the third thing, just setting up tomorrow, just a shout out to our live shows. If you are in the UK and you want to come to see us either in Birmingham or in London, there is a ticket link in the description for those shows. On July 3, we're in Birmingham, and July 13, we're here in London. So 2 massive shows. If you're thinking about coming along, please do. They're some of the funnest nights. It's even looser than what this show is. This has been quite analytical, which only proves that we care about it. So there's a link,
which is a vulvulnerable thing.
It's a vulnerable place to be. It's a vulnerable thing. But I'll tell you what, if South Africa win tomorrow, I am circuiting hard with them. So let's talk about tomorrow. That partnership between Stark and Carey, it was 50-something. It was in pretty quick time as well. It's sort of rested back, some momentum. 2-6. What's the lead? 2-16. 2-18.
2-18. A 2 in front of it makes me feel safe.
2-18. Yeah. So Lyon is at the crease with Stark. It might be enough. It might already be enough. But I do. There will be times tomorrow.
Yep.
That Australia will feel like we need a wicket now. And it's going to come down to it. South Africa have once again, in an international tournament, got themselves in a position where they can win the world. They can do the thing that they aspire to, and they may well do it. It's going to take a Herculean performance. I don't think it's going to be from one person. It's probably going to be from 3 guys just doing enough. Doesn't feel like someone's going to score 100 in this deck. Yeah. So...
Mate, that's why this is such a great game, and I don't mean, jerking off about Test cricket generally. I mean, like this particular game, it is so narrative heavy. Like, the only thing, and we said this for Amazon before as well, but like the only thing standing in between South Africa and like a, exercising the demons of the most painful history in cricket is the snarling Australian cartel and our own exceptionalism. If you look at it objectively, they have to make the highest score in the game in the 4th innings. It is not something that tends to happen in Test cricket. Going against that, though,
that makes me feel good.
Is that one, this is a very chaotic game where strange things are happening. I mean, that first session where South Africa looked like they could make 300 should give them some hope tomorrow. If the deck is going to take a while to get going and it's placid or the sun's out, they could make hay while the sun shines. But I also, mate, like if you'll permit me not being arrogant for a second, like I just I feel like South Africa are playing their cricket here fearlessly, like and it's through the conviction of their coach, the feeling in the crowd, the fact that Rabada, who's played no Test cricket or any of them played like any Test cricket lately, they're playing with their hearts. Like, I just don't feel like we're seeing the South Africa of old. Like I feel like they believe, right? I mean, Janssen at the end of the day, when he drops it one straight to the bread basket, maybe that could all change on the last day. You know, this is the bull case for South Africa. We have seen the Australian team in fourth innings before, if the deck is a bit difficult, become a little bit benign. You know, but you're right. Like, I think the deck has got enough life in it, and the boys can put the ball in the area enough that like South Africa are going to a couple of guys are going to have to play the innings of their life to get them over the line, and even then it's going to be close.
No one for Australia has bowled badly in this game. I want to start by saying that. I'm looking at this deck specifically, and I can't help but think, is this Scott Boland's deck? You know, is it doing, because he's just more at the stumps. You know, it doesn't matter because he's not playing. And they might win. In fact, they probably will win. It's more likely that Australia will win tomorrow, right? Just looking at
Australians at home, never going, I cannot believe you're questioning that we're about to win this game.
Does Lyon need to play it? All that kind of stuff. Like the team is a team. It's a good team. They've won almost everything.
And they
forever.
deserve the right. You know, if you say to them at the start of the cycle, well, you know, no one's making over 200 on this deck. You got to defend 230 or whatever to win the World Test Championship with the cartel and Lyon. They'll go, all right, we'll have a crack at that.
All good. Yeah.
Just put it in the area. Yeah, no, just recording, brother. It's all good. He's on YouTube, The great cricketer. I hope your foot recovers well, brother.
Bez is making friends. Like it just.
He was a kid. He's just asking. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's lost my train of thought. That kid's fucked the show. I can't believe it. What an absolute. Anyway. All right. Let's do Ask TGC Pezza. None of this is fun. Let's be quite clear about that. Afrikaans accent. TGC Winviz. TGC Winviz.
How do they express it? Is it a percentage?
It's a percentage, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got South Africa ahead. I mean, I'm saying 65.
I'm saying 70 Australia.
Yeah,
70%.
Nice. That's fair enough.
And percentage are really important. Are you doing 70%? Seb said, where are you going to meet your mates on Saturday? Yeah, that's a really good point. I do feel sorry for people that be looking forward to this game for ages. Saturday, the weather's been amazing here in London for the most part, and people will not come. Or they might come to Lords. They might be doing the tour in the long room, something like that. So that sucks. What are we looking at? I haven't
vetted these.
And
the fact that it's taking a while suggests that it needs vetting.
216 looks a lot different than 212.
Yeah. 218 as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, fucking well up.
What's a number like if they can get it to it where you're like, oh, Shangri-La? You want a 5? Like you want a 5 in front of that second number?
230.
Okay, you want to go to that side.
Mate, if we get
to declare.
So
how much should declare?
So I'm saying we're 70% now, but if we score 12 more runs, it's 100% certainty.
That's right, it's just that kind of game, mate. It's that kind of game where I feel like South Africa's got another punch to throw. There's twists and turns. Mate, there were so many fucking twists and turns today.
Tomorrow is going to be fucked. Okay? It's going to be fucked. No one's enjoying that on either side. Todd Rickson's left hamstring said, lids at second slip is a bit salty, isn't it? Yeah, so that's another weird one in this game where, like, how many nicks have not carried to the slips? Like, when Janssen dropped that catch, he's almost on the edge of the fucking square.
Yeah.
He
South
is
Africa
so
was
close.
South Africa was up. Australia wasn't.
But then some of the nicks in the first innings off drives were humming through.
Yeah.
But like when it's back of a length or back foot.
I think they were saying that. I think the grass is thatchier at short of a length. I haven't touched a woman in 6 years.
Yes. Gillies Willie said, will we see Constantine Ramps in the West Indies? Is he our only hope? I would say, given the nature of this deck, if our dear friend Sammy, it didn't work out. He tried to do the Boomerang thing again, head-on pike stuff for half a nation. So it's a funny old game, isn't it? Gervais Miller said, will the cartel let Boland play again? Probably not. First drop said, timid approaches of both sides opening sticks of vindication of Bazball approach.
Yes, yeah. You know, you were saying like, oh, what a great game this is. Like in the press box, it's like Australian journalists, South African journalists, and a couple of English journalists, and like I don't think they feel anything about this game. Like, you know what I mean? I know, I'm sure they're happy for South Africa to do well, but like I just looking at them, I'm like, do you feel anything? It's like, nah, not involved.
No.
And that's probably how I'd feel.
And it's sort of hard to figure out like what the system is, and like, you know, we're trying to save Test cricket, but also denigrate the very thing that is helping it.
I'm too busy figuring out who's, exactly.
Day 4 tickets refund. How get? How do you think Chuck is? Yeah, good question. How are you, Chuck? He's probably not watching. He fucking hates cricket. Class 41 said Greg Chappell reckons Green is the best since Ponting. Any butterfly nets in Adelaide? I can't read out that name, but glug glug glug. South African batting lineup desperately tapping thighs of Cummins and Cartel for No, I can't finish that. No,
nice.
My mistake. Well, there you go.
And that's why you should join Patreon, because there's stuff on there that just cannot be read in public.
If you are in Australia and you want to catch all the action tomorrow for what we think is anyway going to be the final day, well, I hope it's going to be the final day. That's going to be unbearable, really. You can catch all the action on Prime Video exclusively in Australia. That's how you do it. Friday night. Let us know how you're feeling in the comments, because look, for everyone, it's going to fucking suck. But if your team does the thing that you want them to, it is going to be absolute utopia.